Thank you, July channel members. Join today to appear here in September videos as an August channel member. Flower. We all know she had a big comeback in BFB, from first boot in Season 1 to first place. But what if things had gone even a little bit differently, 8 episodes before her big win? You see, back in BFB 22, she survived over Taco by just 1 vote out of over 50,000 total. Things could have just as easily gone the other way, so what if they had? That's the question this video seeks to answer. In this alternate timeline, Flower is the one who gets 10,565 votes, while Taco has 1 more. This means Taco stays in the game and Flower is eliminated instead. Even so, Flower arguably still did better than Season 1. Sure, she placed lower, but she also did so without rejoining, managing to survive 4 eliminations in the meantime. Aside from that, I don't see much changing in BFB 22 as it wasn't a very Flower-centric episode. Probably the biggest change is that with Taco still in the game, the newbie alliance wouldn't form, as Lollipop and Gelatin formed it because they were the last ones still in the game to not compete in Season 1. The Have-Cots still end up losing the challenge, and even though the newbie alliance doesn't form, Bubble is still the one to get out due to having very limited screen time in BFB 22. Things get a little bit interesting in BFB 23, however. If Flower isn't present, then she wouldn't kick the Have-Cots for hating her sweaters and release Purple Face, so they would never get stuck in his stomach and be able to win in the way they did. The trampoline Blocky and Woody were using also would not have been sent away by her launching herself from it, so I actually think that the Have-Nots would have won in this instance. It's a bit difficult to say who would have gotten out from the Have-Cots if they had lost one more time before the merge, but I feel like Gelatin has the highest chance to get out in this BFB 24 though, since he wouldn't have the newbie alliance stuff to help him in this timeline. BFB 24 sees the start of the merge, and the challenge is to throw the best party. Lollipop still gets first place by intentionally throwing the worst party she possibly can. She also gets to pick another player to be safe with her. Since Gelatin isn't here, I think Taco is the most likely of those who remain to be picked, because both are newbies and they were on the same team in pre-split. However, the 2 best parties win immunity, not just one. Without Flower, Leafy wouldn't have been sidetracked by her and would have actually had a chance to make a party of her own. Whatever she makes would surely have a better score than what everyone else besides Lollipop would get. This means Teardrop, Fiery, Blocky, and Woody lose the challenge. Fiery still gets out in BFB 25. Blocky and Woody have their dynamic, which would probably also include Taco somehow in this timeline. That would let them be safe. Plus, Fiery's storyline with Leafy has concluded, so there isn't really anything left for him to do. There isn't really anything major that would change about BFB 25 because there wasn't really much of interest in that episode in general. We don't even get the flower dance for obvious reasons. At the very least, nothing would change that affects who loses aside from the obvious. Teardrop still gets a safe totem, and instead of Flower, Taco gets the other, which means Lollipop, Leafy, Blocky, and Woody lose. Out of the 4 losers in BFB 26, since Woody and Blocky are still together, I think Lollipop would get out here, because Leafy is too popular for her to beat. Keep in mind that her and Teardrop wouldn't be allied in this timeline, since Gelatin invited Teardrop to join the newbie alliance that never formed. Leafy is still the one to get Profile-y to the BRB, meaning the rest lose. I think this is the episode where Taco would leave the game had she survived back in BFB 22, simply because she isn't as popular as those she's up against. This also means there are now only Season 1 veterans left, which was never the case in the real timeline. Without Flower dragging her around at the mall in BFB 27, Teardrop may not have gotten the hangers and grappling hook to make a makeshift zipline with. Instead, Leafy ends up shattering the glass in order to make her escape from the giant oven, as normal. She is successful as Flower doesn't land on her and kill her, since she obviously can't. In BFB 28, I think Woody is probably the most likely of the 3 to get voted out, because by this point, I think he's viewed as too obvious of a winner, so people wouldn't want to allow him to win. In the gauntlet of every challenge, Teardrop comes out on top, pitting Leafy and Blocky against each other in the second to last vote. This elimination is a tough call and would likely be considerably closer than Teardrop v Gelatin was in the real BFB 29. I think Blocky would edge it out though, because Leafy is a rejoiner and the viewers may not be too keen on a rejoiner winning the show. And before you bring up Cabby and Animate Insanity as contestant voting, I don't think she would have won a viewer vote. This means the finalists are Blocky and Teardrop, which I personally think is a better final 2 than we actually got. Between them, I think Teardrop would easily win the vote and by extension win BFB. After that, there's not much left to say, as I don't see any of this having much, if any, impact on Teapot. Teardrop would still join that show when she normally does, and leave when she normally does as well. As such, that is about it for this alternate scenario. Thank you for watching, make sure to subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you in the next one.